What's up, everybody? On a podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about toxic fandoms. And this is something that has recently come back into my mind. Obviously, this is not a new term or anything really new to the internet, but in my opinion, the term is used way too lightly, way too. I don't really know any other example of how to put it, but it's, in my opinion, it's not used very right. Now, this is something I alluded to in past videos where you could really say this with a lot of things politically, a lot of words that when you throw them around for 5 years to anybody who disagrees with you on anything, suddenly that word isn't as powerful anymore. And that, I don't like politics on podcasts now, right? We like to kind of keep it away from it. But sadly, I guess a equivalent comes in when it comes to toxic fandoms, which does apply to the channel because of all the games and movies that I cover, okay? I think that word or that phrase in these groups are used, again, really lightly. Star Wars was obviously one of the biggest examples, Star Wars The Last Jedi, right? Anybody who disagreed with I guess, a positive opinion on that movie was labeled as toxic. If you remember back when that movie first came out, in fact, the review bombing, right? And I'm sure there was. But there was also review bombing on the other side, giving it positive scores without seeing it. So I just want to make that clear. But if you remember, there were articles that were literally labeling the people that were doing this as Russian trolls, because this was back in the age where everybody was a Russian troll, which was pretty funny. But you had that, right? And then I think from that point on, when Star Wars split the audience, straight down the middle, anybody that was not on the praising side of it was labeled as toxic. The word, so I want to kind of go through it. To me, what does toxic fandom or what does a toxic person kind of mean? It does not mean somebody who disagrees. If you disagree with something, and even if you voice that disagreement, you are not being toxic whatsoever, in my opinion. Not even close. That's simply what's called having a disagreement. And the internet, and I do want to say this because I think this is really important that people kind of forget, the internet is fully to blame for this, I think. Now, was this a thing before the internet? I'm sure it was. But with the internet, you've established, and I'm not saying like I'm not guilty of it, I'm sure I am too, of creating kind of pockets, bubbles, where you almost isolate yourself in them, and then you get comfortable, and then anybody who has something to say against that bubble that you're in, all of a sudden now you have so much power to blast them, to say they are toxic, to say they don't belong, because you've created this echo chamber. Twitter is entirely an echo chamber, right, of one-sided kind of, I guess, ideas, right, ideologies, and then also, but that's like a big scale. Then it kind of breaks down into the smaller ones. YouTube's the same way. I'm not saying that it isn't, and again, I'm not saying like I try not to be. I try to be pretty open. I try to be not one-sided on things. I have my like, nobody's ever going to convince me that Uncharted isn't my favorite franchise, right? It just is. I'm going to have those, but I mean, I try to keep it open. But again, I'm sure I'm to blame too, or for what I've done, but I'm sure it is an internet thing. I really do believe the internet has created a group that, for Star Wars, or for most recently, if you guys are watching this, the Scream community, I've realized that there's some Scream fans that also don't know how to use the word toxic whatsoever. They're kind of a little lost, and it's because, again, for the same reason, saying that you don't like something simply for just voicing that you're not a fan of a decision, or you're not a fan of, I've never even said this because I don't think it, but like, say you don't like one of the Scream movies, you're immediately toxic. That makes no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense to say that. I guess that's kind of even the opposite spectrum of like when they say like you're a true fan, or like, like a real fan, right? That phrase is also pretty annoying because everybody kind of sets their own boundaries for what a real fan or a true fan of a franchise is, right? So like a real fan of Uncharted says Uncharted 2 is the best, right? Let's just say that. Like, I hate that kind of mentality because it's like, well, that's not, like, you can call yourself, you are a true fan. But, like, I'm a true fan, and I have the right to say that about myself, and you have the right to say that about yourself. Now, I guess everybody does have the right to call somebody else toxic. It's their freedom of speech. It's your ability to type things on the keyboard, right? But, but it's not true. It's not true by just disagreeing. Now, what does make something toxic? I would say toxic, in my opinion, is like consistently going at it. So like if I, as a YouTuber, right, if I make 50 videos like one day at a time, or like 50 days in a row, talking about how much I hated The Last Jedi. Now, I do think, it's important for me to be able to voice my opinion and for me be able to say kind of whatever I want, right? But to like harp on it 50 times over and over again, that probably is not cool. For attacks, if you're attacking, if you are, so like peacefully disagreeing or respectfully disagreeing, right? Those things are fine. But like if you say, no, you can't have that opinion, it can only be mine, or then you threaten people, or then you attack people, or then you do a suit, or I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, like the D word, where you kind of release their info, right? That stuff. That obviously is not okay, and that is the toxic part. That's what and even as a channel, that's what I've always kind of been I think I'm going to be more often too as I get bigger, kind of not a symbol, but like that's going to be one of my main things where I do like the idea of criticism. I like the ability that we're allowed to do it. I think it's really stupid when on Twitter or here or whatever that you're not allowed to criticize things. I get it all the time, and I've always kind of fought back against it because I think we have the right. We're the consumers. We're supposed to do that. We're supposed to make decisions based off of our money, right? Speak with your wallet. But I mean, now again, I wouldn't even say there is a fine line, but there's just a line in general that people jump over, and that's what brings you into the next group, right? Because then if you attack, if you threaten, if you declare that your way is the only way, right? If you start to act like a Sith, then that's not right. That's I guess where it goes down. That is what I equate those words, right? Hate, attacking, all that kind of stuff, threatening. Those are what I would refer to as what toxic is, right? So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I made a video a little while ago talking. This all started. Let me give you a little bit of context. I won't harp too much on it. I made a video a little while ago on the Rian Johnson thing on Stab, and all I said is that, I don't like it as a base thing because I don't like him as a person. I don't like The Last Jedi. And then people were saying, like, you're the reason why, or like you are the toxic thing. Like you don't realize that they're talking about you because you're making a big fuss about it. I don't think making one video that's 9 minutes long is really a big fuss, considering I didn't attack anybody. I said, actually, you can disagree. I said that you don't have to not like The Last Jedi, or you could like Rian Johnson, or I also said it probably won't affect Scream the movie. I didn't say I'm boycotting Scream because, so like all of these key things that maybe would make me toxic if I said all of them, like the reverse of what I did, maybe that makes me toxic. I still don't think it really would, but I didn't say any of them, and still you have people that say, yeah, they're talking about people like you. It's like, it's the stupidest thing in the world, because that's not disagreeing. So me saying I don't like that decision in a movie, like base level, I just don't like it. That's it. I just don't like it. You can, and I'm not, I guess now I am kind of like venting, or I don't want to like put my personal thoughts, or I guess like my personal feelings about like being attacked or whatever on you guys, right? I just want to use it kind of as an example of how they use the word wrong, in my opinion. I don't think what I said is toxic, and I now realize Scream has it, but you know what? Everybody has it. I mean, for the love of God, go on Twitter and you'll see PlayStation fandom, Xbox fandom, like those fans. All it is them attacking each other, attacking the games or franchises that the other one has. I guess the thing that pushed me over is I thought for some reason that Scream was kind of devoid of it a little bit, but it's not. It's filled with people that don't know how to use the word either. So it's tough. But I think this message, it doesn't just apply to Scream. It doesn't just apply to Star Wars. Although again, I think Star Wars, again, The Last Jedi is really where this terminology and using it so sparingly. Again, like over the last like 5 or so years, a lot of words have been weaponized, right, in the wrong way, where they've watered down the word. This is one of them. This is one of that package of words. And this was 2017, December of 2017 is when The Last Jedi came out. That's what happened. Again, toxic fandoms always existed in general, and the word always existed, but using it so sparingly that if you just don't agree that The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie ever made, you're all of a sudden toxic. And once you do that, and then you use that for everything, and you call everybody it, and you use that word like twice a day, it means nothing. So when somebody calls me toxic, I laugh. I also maybe get a little upset, but mainly I laugh because it literally doesn't mean anything. The word has no value anymore. I'm not hurt. I mean, imagine before this word got picked up, if you said, oh, XYZ YouTuber is a toxic YouTuber. I mean, oh my God, like, okay, steer clear. The person is horrible. You know what I mean? It's like a pit of a really bad place, right? Down below, all that stuff, right? You have to stay away. But now, when you hear, oh, this YouTuber says some toxic stuff, it's like, well, does he really though? Or does he really, or actually, is it just things that you don't agree with? You have like a 50-50 shot that the person is either just bad, like a bad person at his heart and his core, or he just says things that you don't always agree with, and that makes him somehow evil. You know what I mean? And that's where that word really gets used wrong. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. Thank you for anybody who watched this far or watched this video in general. Thank you for supporting a video like this. I know it's pretty different than anything I make separately, right? Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.